I want you to know it's okay.
Hey Ryan, is that really you? A feminine voice echoed through the hallway. The girl who was called looked back and found her friend running at her. She smiled a bit and hugged her. You don't even know how much I missed you, she said with a sigh of relief. It's because my dad was a bit sick, so. Oh, come on, Ryan. Why you always have to care for them? He always insults you and grabs all your money. After all, he is your stepfather. She mocked. You sigh. Yeah, whatever, but I am here now, right? So let's go to the class. Your friend Zendaya nodded, but suddenly stopped, making you confused. What? You have been absent for a month, and in the span of time, a new student transferred here, she whispered. So you whispered back. Maintain a distance from him. Why does his feet smell? You asked with disgust expression. No, you stupid. So does his mouth smells as a stinking toilet? Just shut up. I can't. He's just a bit creepy and talks to himself. You know he gives psychotic vibes, Zendaya said with serious look planted on her face. You shrugged a bit, offended. Really, Zendaya, only he talks to himself doesn't mean he's psycho or something. But see, it's already late. Professor would shout at me. You go to your class, I would go to mine, okay? Bye. Zendaya nodded with a sigh and waved at her. You shrugged and walked towards your class. You tried to sneak in but found the professor already looking at you. Good morning, sir. You bowed quickly and drifted away to a random vacant seat, one you found at the last. The professor glared at you but went back on teaching. You sighed in relief before taking out required materials from your backpack. That's when you noticed a presence beside you. You was confused to see the boy sitting unbothered, covered in hoodie that covered half of his face. You shrugged it. You shrugged it off and concentrated on the lecture. You was a bit awkward with the frozen look of the boy, who didn't glance at you even his gaze was stuck on his book, nor did he look up towards the professor. You coughed a bit to catch his attention, but he didn't budge. Hey, you initiated. The boy tilted his head slightly but went back to his previous position. You was curious but more confused. Anything's wrong? The boy shook his head. You couldn't see his face but muttered a small okay before concentrating. So, students, that's it for today. We will continue this tomorrow. Complete your assignment. Bye. Have a good day. Since he went out, it was a break for a short while. You thought of going to the library to complete your backlogs. Everyone already rushed out. You stood up but found the boy still in the same position. Hey, won't you go out? You asked the boy. He didn't look at you and shook his head. You sat back beside him and spoke. By the way, my name is Ryan. You chirped and stretched out your hand, but the boy didn't look at you, nor did he accept the handshake. You awkwardly took back your hand, resting it on the bench. What's your name? You didn't want to give up already. You expected to not to receive a response, but startled when he replied with his deep, cold voice. Why are you interested to know my name? Your body shivered when he looked at you in the eyes. His gaze was piercing and almost blank, making it scary. You shuddered but smiled hesitantly. It's nothing. I just asked. Why did you ask? He spat back coldly. His voice was calm but very stern. For a moment you went completely blank. Why was it affecting you so much? It is because he seems intimidating or handsome, or because his voice is deep. You was nervous. You gathered your courage but you just stammered. Because I thought you had a problem. Why would you care? His responses were never answers but questions, and that was enough to make you weak. It wasn't like you was scared, but you couldn't keep yourself looking at the boy since he was a definition of beauty. I am sorry. Why would you be sorry? Oh my goodness, why does he have to question this much, just like a lawyer just questions the victim? You thought to yourself, your throat was completely dry when he kept looking at you. I guess I have to go. You quickly got your backpack and ran outside without hearing from him. The suspicious boy sighed. No need to talk to her. She's just like others one. Got it, Jungkook? But I thought she was nice. A feeble voice replied to himself. You are so naive. I am warning you. For your good. Okay. You came out panting, letting out a heavy sigh of relief. You placed your hand on your chest, calming your pounding heart. Your heart was still pounding. His handsome face flashed before your eyes. Can't deny, but he did make your heart flutter. You slightly blushed but smacked yourself. Where were you? I thought you would be in the library, so I went there, but you weren't there. Zendaya came out of nowhere and crossed her arms against her chest. You looked at her. I was about to. Let's go. Zendaya shook her head. The break time is almost ended. Meet you later. She went away. You sigh unknowingly. No, no way. You can't sit with that boy again. You went in, and almost every seat were filled up, leaving the last one beside him empty again. Your heart started run again. Helplessly, you went there and sat beside him with jelly legs. You maintained a decent distance. You don't know why you was nervous. Just like we feel for our crush. You stiffened when the boy visible moved. Should I try again? No, no. What if he goes on and punches my nose? But maybe he won't hurt me, right? He's been alone since morning. Maybe he has no friends, so I should talk, right? After having a inner battle, you mustered up your courage and turned at him. Hey, I'm sorry for running away all of a sudden, but I got so nervous seeing you. You look so intimidating. I mean, you are so handsome. Hold up, I didn't mean to say that, but I'm a good girl and good person. Good person to you. You was blabbering but was cut off with a husky chuckle. Your breath hitched. Unknowingly you smiled and felt butterflies in your stomach. Did you make him smile? Gosh, you can't see his face. You tried to look for his face but got startled when he looked up and your eyes locked with his. And that was when you noticed his eyes, hazel brown, warm, not cold as ice like the previous one. After 3 seconds, he looked away. That was awkward. You muttered underneath your breath, a red hue forming on your cheeks. He's really handsome, you exclaimed. So you were sitting with him the whole time but still doesn't know his name? Zendaya asked in disbelief. You embarrassedly shook your head. He didn't seem to talk much. He's always silent. I don't know why. You said suddenly she stood eating her lunch. You looked at her questionably. Wait, no way, you are talking about him? Who? You asked hesitantly. She quickly stood up. So else you. She dragged you to the backyard of the university. Is that him? Zendaya whispered, pointing at an alone guy sitting on the bench. You stared at him and nodded your head vigorously. She gasped. Idiot, he's only the one whom I want you to stay away from. Zendaya smacked your head. The one who talks to himself? Yes, Jeon Jungkook, the new transferee, she yelled. She was concerned, but it didn't concern you at all. Instead, you was amused on hearing his name. Jeon Jungkook, you whispered to yourself until she brought you back to the reality. What the hell, YN? I'm talking to you. Where are you zoning out? She yelled at you. You snapped out and found her looking at you with furious eyes. I'm sorry. Just listen to me. She was suddenly cut off by a harsh yet cold voice. Why are you shouting like a barking bitch, huh? You both flinched and looked up to see him, Jungkook, burning holes in the body of Zendaya. He glanced at you and you gulped because his stare was completely different by now, a bit red and full of rage. I'm sorry, that's what you have learned in the whole world. He snapped and went away. Everyone avoided his gaze. Have you seen how dangerous he is? She whispered. You was confused. But he was so shy and quiet in front of me, you murmured to yourself before getting dragged away by her. It was the end of class almost, and the whole time you could do was thinking about him. You really found him interesting at the first sight. You was kind of curious about him. You was a snap from your thoughts when she called you. Let's go. She smiled at you. You did the same and said, You go. I'm supposed to recover the syllabus. I'll stay in the library for a long. Are you sure? Should I go? She asked. You smiled and nodded. She beamed back and left. You sighed and started packing your backpack. You grabbed it and left the class. You was walking through the hallway. There were only a few students, so it was silent and you could hear your own footsteps. You was supposed to change your direction, but someone suddenly bumped into you. You fell down on the floor and looked up to find a pair of sparkling eyes looking at you worriedly. You was awestruck, knowing it was him. Are you okay? He asked, looking at you worriedly, and you was still on the floor, looking at him completely confused. Is it him? The one whom you saw the moment before, rageful and rude? You gulped as he stuck out his hand. You took it as he helped you to stand up. You stood. Thank you, Jungkook. I mean, sorry. Hey, no need to be sorry. And by the way, I'm not Jungkook. I'm Kimchi. Hey, Beam, your jaw dropped. Is he sick? He sounded so happy and cheerful, unlike in the morning, harsh and cold. His eyes were sparkling. You was confused when he suddenly took out his hand, startled. I'm Kimchi. How about we become friends? You hesitantly took his hands and smiled. I'm Ryan, and yes, we can be friends if you want to. He smiled widely, and that's when his bunny smile showed up. Your heart skipped a bit. His smile is so beautiful. Hell, it was beyond beautiful. Thank you for being my friend. Everyone ignored me, but you didn't. Thank you so much. He pouted and smiled afterwards. How cute he is. No need to say thank you, Kimchi. You smiled hesitantly. Do you love kimchi? You asked out of blue. He frowned but smiled again. Yes, don't worry. My name is a bit unusual, but I don't know why. You nodded, understanding the situation. Who is Jungkook? He frowned deeply. Did you ask something wrong? You panicked, but before you could react, he asked, Haven't you met him yet? You gulped and shook your head in denial, looking down. Hey, come on, that doesn't matter to me. You are actually so sweet. You'll meet and talk to him soon. He assured you, looked up and met with his excited eyes. You sighed in relief and nodded when he spoke up. Are you going to study? He asked you, pointing at the book you was holding. You nodded in response. How about I join you? I really need someone to be with. Can I? His excited voice always hit you hard, but in a good way. Unlike Unlike that cold and harsh voice that always made you shiver. You nodded, he smiled widely and hopped a bit closer, hugging you tightly. You froze, your heart started beating way more harder than before. Doesn't listen. You slowly hugged him back. He pulled away and dragged you towards the library. You was like an unprocessed system. His hand felt so good holding yours, so warm. You didn't know when you both reached and settled until he called out for you. Hey, you looked at him smiling at you. So, shall I start? Would you join me too? You asked, trying hard not to blush as he kept staring at you with a wide smile. He shook his head. You feel that that's a headache. Let Jungkook do everything. He giggled. You looked down, even though it was a bit unusual for you. Unusual, knowing that he was Jungkook himself but still considered himself another someone. You knew about this as somewhere you read it before, but where? You shrugged off and concentrated on your book. After a good 2 minutes, you was totally unfocused as Jungkook came at you. You sighed and looked up. He smiled widely again. You sighed, and before you could speak, he asked, "Can I give you a nickname?" Huh? You asked. We are best friends, right? So, how about I give you a nickname? He was smiling widely. When did we become best friends? We just met, right? He frowned. You don't want to be my best friend? You felt your heart clench at his frown. Who said that? I want to be your best friend, Kimchi. The moment I met you, he smiled, and so did you. So, can I call you Berry? You frowned. Why though? Because you are sweet just like a berry. You felt your heart flutter. Oh, okay. Even though I didn't taste you, I know you are so sweet. He chirped. You pressed your lips at his choice of words but nodded with an awkward smile. Can you give me a nickname too? He held your hands. You startled and got nervous. I don't know. You spoke sadly, as you seriously didn't have any idea. His smile didn't bend even a bit. He shrugged and pinched. He shrugged and pinched your nose. Your eyes widened in shock. It's okay, Barry, you blushed. Oh, Mowbray is blushing, he stated. Stop, okay, he beamed and left your hand. Can I ask you something? He nodded. Why didn't you go home? I'm alone always. I feel so lonely. It's not a home, but it's a shelter. Isn't your family with you? You asked out of curiosity. They left me. It was heartbreaking, but his smile didn't even vanish. It's like he just said something so normal and usual. I'm sorry. Hey, don't be. I'm actually happy. They found happiness without me. So I'm happy, and maybe I was wrong somewhere. He smiled. You felt your eyes teary but held them in. Why is he so kind? Don't think that and help me in my study, Kimchi. You growled playfully. He smiled and scratched his knee. I am not good in study. It's Jungkook who's actually good in study. You was speechless. Confusion started to eat you. You nodded and focused back on the books. He is definitely sick. Is he suffering from multiple personality disorder? Realization hit you. It can be, right? Can I ask him? No, you might make him uncomfortable. You just met him. You should take some time. But should you help him? It was over 3 hours that you kept studying. Kimchi was already sleeping. You sighed as you finished your half of the important work. You scratched a bit and decided to wake up before leaving. Hey, Kimchi, wake up, I'm done. You shook him a bit. He groaned. He groaned and woke up. You smiled, but when he noticed you, he suddenly jerked your hands away. You flinched when he stood up abruptly. What the hell are you doing here, huh? He yelled. You flinched at his sudden outburst. Please don't shout. It's a The librarian suddenly stopped talking as he glared at him. His eyes were not sparkling and Bambi anymore. Instead, it were back to red and rageful. That you found during lunch, you gulped. Kimchi, what's wrong? I'm not Kimchi, I'm JK, understand? And what the hell were you doing with me, huh? You flinched again. I didn't actually. Actually, what? You ungrateful bitch. Are you probably stalking Jungkook? I'm warning you. Stay away from him. Got it? He spat harshly and went away. You was teary and not so soon. You was silently crying. You bowed at the others and ran out.
I want you to know it's okay.